I never thought my own sister would be capable of such betrayal, but life has a cruel way of teaching you lessons you never wanted to learn. My name is Jessica, and this is the story of how my sister Emma crossed a line so unforgivable that I had no choice but to reveal her deepest, darkest secret to everyone who mattered. It all started with my dream wedding dress, a stunning ivory gown that I had spent 8 months designing with a local seamstress, pouring my heart, soul, and every penny of my savings into creating the perfect dress for what was supposed to be the most important day of my life. The intricate beadwork, the flowing train, the delicate lace sleeves, every detail was crafted specifically for me, for my body, for my vision of walking down the aisle to marry the love of my life, David. Emma had always been jealous of me, though I tried to ignore the signs throughout our childhood and into our adult years. She was 2 years older but had always struggled to find her place in the world, jumping from job to job, relationship to relationship, never quite satisfied with anything she had. When I got engaged to David, a successful architect with his own firm, I could see the envy burning in her eyes during family dinners. She would make snide comments about how some people get all the luck and constantly questioned whether David was really the one for me. I brushed off her negativity, thinking it was just typical sibling rivalry, but I should have paid more attention to the warning signs that were staring me right in the face. 2 weeks before my wedding, I discovered that Emma had secretly gotten engaged to Marcus, David's business partner and close friend. The announcement came as a complete shock to our entire family, especially since she had only been dating him for 6 months. But the real bombshell came when she declared that she wanted to have a small, intimate ceremony the following weekend, just 1 week before my own wedding. She claimed it was because Marcus had gotten a job offer in another state and they needed to move quickly, but something about her rushed timeline and secretive behavior didn't sit right with me. I tried to be supportive, offering to help with last-minute planning, but she insisted on handling everything herself, which should have been my first red flag. The morning of Emma's wedding, I woke up to get ready and help her prepare, only to discover that my wedding dress was missing from my closet. I frantically searched my entire apartment, thinking maybe I had moved it somewhere and forgotten, but it was nowhere to be found. When I called Emma in a panic, she casually mentioned that she had borrowed my dress because she couldn't find anything suitable for her own ceremony on such short notice. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. She had actually taken my custom-made, one-of-a-kind wedding dress without asking and planned to wear it to her own wedding. When I demanded she return it immediately, she laughed and told me I was being dramatic, saying I could easily find another dress since I still had a whole week before my ceremony. Standing in that church, watching my sister walk down the aisle in my dress, wearing the gown I had dreamed about for months, was one of the most humiliating and heartbreaking moments of my entire life. The dress fit her perfectly, which made sense since we were nearly the same size, but seeing her in it felt like watching someone steal my identity. Family members kept complimenting her on how beautiful she looked, not knowing they were actually admiring my hard work and financial sacrifice. I smiled and played the supportive sister role throughout the ceremony, but inside I was plotting my revenge. Emma had crossed a line that could never be uncrossed, and I was determined to make sure she paid the price for her selfishness and complete lack of respect for me as her sister. That's when I decided to do some digging into Emma's relationship with Marcus, and what I discovered made my blood run cold. Through a mutual friend who worked at the same company, I learned that Emma had been having an affair with Marcus for over a year, while he was still engaged to his previous fiancée, Rachel. The timeline meant that Emma had been sneaking around with Marcus long before David and I got engaged, and she had actually broken up his previous relationship to be with him. But the most shocking revelation was that she was still seeing her ex-boyfriend, Tyler, even after getting engaged to Marcus. I managed to get photographic evidence of their affair through a private investigator friend who owed me a favor, and the pictures were absolutely damning. The photos showed Emma and Tyler in compromising situations at a hotel just 3 days before her wedding to Marcus. There were timestamps, clear faces, and undeniable proof that my sister was a cheating, manipulative liar who had destroyed multiple relationships to get what she wanted. As I stared at those images, I felt a mixture of disgust and vindication. Finally, I had something that could expose Emma for who she really was. But I knew I had to be strategic about how I used this information. Simply confronting her privately wouldn't be enough after what she had done to me. I needed everyone to see her true character, especially Marcus, who was about to build his life with someone who would inevitably betray him just like she had betrayed everyone else. I contacted the photographer who had covered Emma and Marcus's wedding reception, explaining that I wanted to create a special surprise slideshow for the couple as a gift from the family. He was more than happy to help, especially when I offered to pay him extra for his time and discretion. I carefully crafted a presentation that started with beautiful, romantic photos from their ceremony and early relationship, lulling everyone into a false sense of warmth and celebration. But hidden within the slideshow, timed perfectly for their first dance as husband and wife, were the incriminating photos of Emma's affair with Tyler. I made sure the images were clear, undeniable, and projected large enough for every single guest to see exactly what kind of person Emma really was beneath her perfect wedding day facade. The moment those photos appeared on the screen during their first dance, the reception hall fell into complete, deafening silence. Marcus stopped dancing immediately, his face turning white as he realized what he was seeing. Emma tried to laugh it off at first, claiming the photos were fake or doctored, but the timestamps and clear evidence made her lies impossible to maintain. Guests began whispering, pointing, and pulling out their phones to record the unfolding drama. Marcus confronted Emma right there on the dance floor, demanding answers while she scrambled to come up with explanations that made no sense. Within minutes, he had walked out of his own wedding reception, leaving Emma standing alone in my stolen dress, finally exposed for the manipulative, cheating liar she had always been. The aftermath was swift and brutal. Marcus filed for annulment within the week, citing fraud and adultery as grounds for ending their marriage before it even began. Our parents, who had always favored Emma and made excuses for her behavior, finally saw her for who she really was and demanded she return my dress and apologize for her actions. The family gossip network ensured that everyone in our social circle knew exactly what had happened, and Emma's reputation was completely destroyed. She tried to blame me for ruining her life, but I reminded her that she had made her own choices and I had simply exposed the truth. As for my wedding dress, she finally returned it, though I decided to donate it to a local charity for brides in need rather than wear something that held such negative memories. My own wedding proceeded as planned the following week, with a new dress that was actually more beautiful than the original. David and I had a wonderful celebration surrounded by people who truly loved and supported us, and the drama with Emma had actually brought us closer together as a couple. She wasn't invited to our wedding, obviously, and most of our family supported our decision to cut her out of such an important day. Looking back, I don't regret exposing Emma's secrets, because sometimes people need to face real consequences for their actions. She taught me that blood doesn't always mean loyalty, and that standing up for yourself sometimes requires making difficult choices that others might not understand or approve of, but that ultimately protect your own dignity and self-respect.